please stand for the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Mrs. Turner?
Here.
Mr. Bromhall?
Here.
Mr. Gaffney?
Here.
Ms. Iacone?
Here.
Mr. Kenny? Ms. Quinn? Mrs. Trompe?
Here.
Ms. Fitzwater? Here. Statement is hereby made that adequate notice of this meeting was given by submission of said notice to the Burlington County Times, the Courier Post, the Cinnaminson Township Clerk, and the district website on January 6, 2022, and the Burlington County Times, Cinnaminson Township Clerk, and district website on October 3rd, 2022. Doing something a little bit different at the beginning of this meeting, and that is we will have the swearing-in ceremony for our new board member.
You don't want to keep back. You don't want to keep back.
Hi. Please repeat after me and raise your right hand. I, Daniel Evans III,
I, Daniel Evans III,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the governments
and to the governments
established in the United States
established in the United States
and this state,
and this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I, Daniel Evans III,
I, Daniel Evans III,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I possess the qualifications
that I possess the qualifications
prescribed by law
prescribed by law
for the office
for the office
of Member of Board of Education,
of Member of Board of Education,
and that I am not disqualified
and that I am not disqualified
as a voter pursuant to
as a voter pursuant to
RS
RS
19
19
4-1,
4-1,
nor disqualified
nor disqualified
due to conviction of a crime
due to conviction of a crime
or offense listed in
or offense listed in
NJS
NJS
18A
18A
12-1,
12-1,
and that I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
impartially, and justly
impartially, and justly
perform all the duties of that office
perform all the duties of that office
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my abilities.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Go in if you don't.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Have a seat. All right, Mrs. Turner, can I have a motion to convene into executive session?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Trompe. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we are moving into executive session. We will reconvene the public meeting at approximately 7 p.m. Mr. Gaffney, can I have a motion to reconvene the public meeting?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Turner. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And we're back in public session. We're moving to 5, routine business. I need to get where I'm supposed to be here. All right. We've got A, the board secretary's report for August 2022. B, the treasurer's report for August 2022. C, the budget receipts and transfers for August 2022. The monthly transfer report for October 12th, 2022. E, the high school activities report for September of 2022. F, the food service management cost performance statement for September of 2022. G, the certified bill list, September 14th through the 30th, and October 1st through October 12th. H, the approval of minutes from the regular meeting, September 27th, 2022. Mrs. Turner, can I have a motion to approve Section 5, routine business items A through H?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Trompe. Comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Ms. Iacone?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion approved. Moving on to Section 6, routine matters. A, the enrollment report for October 14th. The health report for September 2022. C, the fire alarm report for September 2022. D, the crisis drill report for September 2022. E, the HIB report. F, the superintendent's monthly report. Mr. Capello.
Thank you, Mrs. Fitzwater. I'd first like to pre-thank Dr. Goldberg for the presentation he's going to offer to the board on our state testing. This week at New Albany School, they kicked off the Pirates and Pages program. We had a chance last year to meet our new therapy dog, Lily, who's been spending time with the kiddos, and it is very exciting. Got a chance to visit some second grade classrooms this week where students were very happy to practice their literacy skills reading to our therapy dog. In the month of October, there's a few different weeks. Under the Anti-Bullying Bill of Rights, the first Monday kicks off the designated Week of Respect, and if you're a parent in the district, you likely got notice of some great thematic days that we had. If you follow our district on social media, a number of events going on surrounding the Week of Respect. This week is also the Spirit Week at CHS, and we may or may not hear a little bit more about that. And October 23rd begins Red Ribbon Week, a statewide initiative commitment to keeping kids drug-free. I'd like to thank Katie Saya and the members who've helped bolster up our Cinnaminson alumni network, which has grown another 50% in the month of October. And I think one of the great, very Cinnaminson things about our alumni network is of all of the members who have joined, 50% have committed themselves and recognized themselves as people willing to help out other individuals in the network, either through some career counseling or college-based consulting. So fantastic that our community is so willing to give of themselves to our students and to other alumni that are a part of the network. If you have not registered and you are a member of the Cinnaminson alumni, I'd highly recommend you visit cinnaminsonalumni.com and register and get involved. Special congratulations to one of our speech therapists in the district, Rachel Cashin. She just published her first children's book titled Just Plain Meatloaf, and that dropped on September 3rd and is available on Amazon. So congratulations to Rachel for pursuing a life dream of getting a book published. It looks like a lot of fun. And finally, I'd like to recognize a member of our extended community who gave of himself a couple times in the last 2 weeks. Philadelphia Eagles linebacker Hassan Reddick visited our students at the Rush School, and if you didn't see the pictures and videos, he was a true rock star celebration, which I'm fully convinced helped bolster the team to beat Dallas this week with all of that positive energy, and was so giving of himself to our community. He visited this middle school today and was able to meet with the middle school students, who of course greeted him with a similar amount of fanfare. So we appreciate him giving of himself to the district. And Mrs. Fitzwater, that is my very brief Phillies game night superintendent report.
Yes, it was. Mrs. Trompe, can I have a motion to approve Section 6, routine matters, items A through F?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Turner. Comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Mr. Evans?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion approved. Moving on to Section 7, student representative reports. We have a new member of our table here. This is our middle school student representative, Lucia Chalette, and she's going to give us the report.
Thank you, and good evening to all of you. My name is Lucia Chalette, and I'm honored to be your Middle School Board of Education liaison this year. For those of you who don't know me, I am a member of the CMS Dance Club, enjoy performing in our musicals, and play viola in our school orchestra. Outside of school, I actively volunteer at St. Charles with pancake breakfasts, the carnival, and weekly by assisting in their third grade religious education program. I enjoy baking and love hanging out with my friends. Our September Students of the Month are Juliana Della Pema for 6th grade, for 7th grade, Kaylee McCoy, and for 8th grade, Kyle Lopez. The Student Council election was held on October 4th. The candidates presented their video speeches, and the student body voted during homeroom. The officers for the school year are as follows. President Dylan Burke, Vice President Keziah Flamer, Secretary Jake Barbick, Treasurer Alexis Meenan, Home and School Liaison Tyler Davis. Last night, all of the elected students participated in the Cinnaminson Township School Council meeting. During the school day, the students had a tour of the municipal complex, including the police station. We met with township officials and municipal staff and even made our way into a jail cell. This past year, the Character Education Committee and Student Council convened to reevaluate our 10 core values of character education. With Pirate Pride always at the forefront of our school, the new core values are perseverance, respect, integrity, dedication, and empathy. During the first week of October, our middle school students participated in the Week of Respect, a week full of activities geared towards building character and preventing bullying. During the Week of Respect, our new core value words were highlighted to emphasize good character in action. Afterwards, these words will continue to drive programs such as Pirate Hooks and Student of the Month nominations. CMS looks forward to maintaining its commitment to character education. Throughout the Week of Respect, staff members had the opportunity to reward good character in action. Staff members received color-coded tickets for each Pirate Pride core value. When a staff member observed a student displaying the Pirate Pride core value of the day, the staff member awarded the student one of the tickets. Throughout the week, tickets were pulled from the bin to announce winners, who then received a free snack coupon, which can be cashed in at the CMS cafeteria. Band lessons and practices are underway, and musicians are enjoying their time. Fall sports are continuing, and the student athletes are having a fun and successful season so far. The girls' A field hockey team is 3-1-1, while the B field hockey team is 1-2-1. The boys' A soccer team is 7-1 and has outscored their opponents 39-7 so far. Additionally, the boys' B soccer team is 4-1. The girls' A soccer team is also having a successful season with a record of 8-0, and the B team with a record of 3-0-1 as well, scoring 15 goals in 4 games. The cross-country teams are doing well. The 7th and 8th grade girls have a record of 7-2, and the 6th grade girls have a record of 2-2-1. The 7th and 8th grade boys are 8-1, while the 6th graders are 3-2. Overall, all 4 fall sports teams are doing amazing and working hard to improve each week. Our school supported Relay for Life in September by wearing purple in honor of Mrs. Moreski's Purple Pirate team. We will once again be holding our Take a Veteran to School Day celebration on Thursday, November 3rd. CMS students will be encouraged to invite a family member or friend who is a veteran or an active member of the military. We will hold a breakfast in the cafeteria for our guests, followed by the Veterans Recognition Program, which will include speeches, musical performances, and a gun salute by the visiting VFW members. Information about the event was sent home last week. Red Ribbon Week will be held the last week of October. There will be activities supporting drug abuse awareness, as well as a dress-up theme for each day. Staff and Student Council are teaming up again to make Spirit Week more meaningful by combining Spirit Week with Red Ribbon Week. The Stop Club is promoting anti-drug awareness by involving the entire student body. This year's Red Ribbon theme is Celebrate Life, Live Drug-Free. Students will complete a homeroom activity about this year's theme. Spirit Week themes are as follows. Monday, October 24th, Too Bright for Drugs, wear bright or neon colors. Tuesday, October 25th, Sock It to Drugs, wear crazy socks. Wednesday is Put a Cap on Drugs, wear a hat. Thursday is Team Up Against Drugs, wear your favorite team shirt or jersey. And finally, Friday, October 28th, is Our School is Drug-Free. Show our school spirit and wear Pirate Pride clothing. Thank you for your time tonight. I'm looking forward to being your Board of Education liaison this year.
Thank you, Lucia. Any comments from the board members? On behalf of everyone, welcome, and we look forward to having you here every month. And now you get to leave. All right. We're moving on to number 8, presentation. Dr. Goldburn.
Very much.
So now I need to do it.
If any of the board members would like a different view, you can relocate to the front, but just have some information over your shoulder. You can turn around just as easy.
Oh, can I do it? Okay. I'm just gonna turn.
All right, so, good evening, everyone. Is this one?
No.
No.
Still not.
Okay.
All right, so this previous school year, the 21-22 school year, saw the return of a number of state-mandated, and in some cases federally mandated assessments that we administer in our schools, so this presentation will be much longer than it was last year. I was reminded there are a few sporting events, so I will be succinct yet informative. So the tests that we will be speaking about this evening are the NJSLA, the access test, which is given to our students in our English language learner program, and the SAT and the AP test that are integral parts of our high school program. So the NJSLA, the New Jersey Student Learning Assessment, which 3 or 4 years ago was called the PARC Assessment, which 5 or 6 years before that was called the NJASC, is administered to our students. The federal law called the Every Student Succeeds Act, which governs a lot of what goes on in public schools in the United States, mandates that students are to be assessed annually in grades 3 through 8 and once in high school in English language arts and mathematics. That same law says that in grades 5, 8, and 11, students are to be assessed in science. The test for the ELA and Math was postponed in 2020. It was postponed in 2021. So this is our first piece of data in the NJSLA since the 2019 school year. In mid-September, score reports were mailed to families with their children's score reports. The reports give the students score from a range of 650 to 850, and there are 5 levels of achievement. Did not meet expectations, partially met, approaching, met, and exceeded expectations. This information that we get is one piece of data that we use in our academic program here, whether it be for participation in some are higher level or lower level courses. Again, it is one piece of information. It is not the sole determining factor. As I said, the science test also mandated in grades 5, 8, and 11. Totally different scoring system. Don't ask me why, but it ranges from 100 to 300, and instead of 5, there are 4 levels of achievement. Again, those same science score reports were mailed to current 6th, 9th, and 12th graders this past September. We are mandated within 60 days of getting the score information to have that information publicly reported at a board meeting. The results, as well as the participation rates. You can see there for Rush, the middle school, and the high school, the percentage of students in the grades that were supposed to take the test, the percentage of students who did take the test. So over the next couple of slides, we're going to look at it grade by grade, how the students did. There will be some bar charts and also some data about the average score here in Cinnaminson. So on the bar charts, Cinnaminson is the red bar, and right next to it in green will be the New Jersey passing rate. We will look at it on each slide for English. We will also see math on that same slide. On the bottom of the slides, you will see the average score for Cinnaminson, and you will see the state score, average score as well. So let's take a look at third grade. Third grade, and I'll read the numbers out loud because I know the numbers are a bit small there. In third grade in ELA, 42% of the third graders passed the test. Across the state of New Jersey, 42% of the students passed the test. In mathematics, 55% of Cinnaminson students passed the assessment. Across the state of New Jersey, 45% of students passed the test. If we were to take the average of every single third grader at Rush, The average score on the ELA portion was a 742. 750 is a passing score. In mathematics, the average score for Rush third graders was a 757, 12 points higher than the state. Moving on to fourth grade, you'll see that 52% of fourth graders passed the English portion of the test. That number was 49% across the state. In mathematics, 48% of Rush students took the test and passed it. 39% passed it statewide in math. And again, you can see the average score comparison there as well. In fifth grade, 59% of fifth graders passed the ELA test versus 50 statewide. 57% of the fifth graders passed the math assessment. The passing rate was 36% across the state of New Jersey. Moving on to the science portion of the test for the fifth graders, those students had to take 3 exams in the month of May last year. 41% of students passed the assessment, 26% statewide. Moving on to the middle school, 60% of the children passed the ELA portion of the test versus 48 in the state. 29% of students passed the math test, 31 statewide in mathematics. Again, you can see the average score at the bottom. You could ask yourself, well, why did less students pass statewide, yet our average score is higher? If you look at these scores, how many children scored in a level 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we always had much fewer students scoring at a level 1, the lowest score, than the state average. So we had more students always, if it was a lower number, clustered in the 2 and 3 scoring range than the 1, which brings the average up a little bit. Moving on to 7th grade, 70% of the children passed the ELA portion of the test versus 53% statewide. And in math, 39% of the students passed versus 34%. Moving on to 8th grade. In 8th grade, 48% of the children passed the ELA portion of the test versus 51% statewide, excuse me. 13% of the 8th grade students who took grade 8 math passed the assessment. The passing rate was 16% statewide. At the end of 7th grade, there is a divergence in the courses that students take. Typically, each year, about 25% of our 8th graders take Algebra 1, for which they receive high school credit. That group of students is not included because 8th grade math is a different test than Algebra 1. So 75% of the 8th grade class took that 8th grade math test. The students who were in Honors Algebra 1 took a totally different test. If you're wondering why there was such a substantial drop-off in achievement, whether it be in Cinnaminson or statewide. Looking at the science assessment, 14% of the children passed versus 16% in science. If you're wondering, why are the science numbers so low? In English and math, the kids take an assessment based on what they learned that year. The science tests are based on 3 years' worth of information. The kids in 5th grade are taking the science assessment based on standards that are meant for grades 3, 4, and 5. That's a lot of information. In 8th grade, it's based on the middle school science standards. In 11th grade, it's based on physics, it's based on chemistry, it's based on biology, environmental science, earth science, space science, some of which those topics are taught in 12th grade. So those scores, we will find the averages are going to be lower than the other subject matters. Moving on to the high school, grade 9, 64% of the children passed the English language arts portion of the assessment, 49% statewide. Looking at Algebra 1 here, this is a combination of 8th and 9th graders. So that 25% of the 8th grade class that I mentioned a moment ago are included on that slide for Algebra 1. And 9th graders who are taking college prep or ACC Algebra 1, those students, 49% of them passed the assessment versus 35% statewide. The math assessment in high school is only given to ninth graders, and a very small sliver of eighth graders who took Algebra 1 as seventh graders. So these are ninth grade students and some eighth grade students, for the most part, who are in honors geometry, a small number who are in ACC geometry. 62% of them passed the assessment versus 44% statewide. And again, looking at science results, again, this is based on almost 4 years' worth of science standards, a little bit higher than the state average there. 34% of those students passed the assessment versus 29% statewide. Again, it's a completely different scoring range in science, ranging from 100 to 300. So if we were to put it all together for English language arts, here's the entire district from 3rd to 9th grade. You'll see that the numbers kind of peak towards the tail end. Taking a look at the middle school, the math scores, we see the passing rates kind of elevated at the tail ends, and statewide, things tend to go down in the middle grades, and then back up once we are in high school. And lastly, the science scores, again, looking at the 5th, 8th, and 11th grade data there. Any board members have any questions about anything related to the NJSLA before I move on to the access test? You can always email me if you have one. The access test is also a state-mandated, federally mandated assessment, and this is given to students who are in our English language learner program. 5 years ago, there were about 25 students in this program. Now there are about 125 students in this program. Students who are ELL students, used to be called English as a Second Language, we now call it English Language Learners, take this assessment each spring, late winter. This is a test that assesses kids on their listening, speaking, reading, and writing proficiency in the English language. Listening, they literally, for certain portions of the test, put on headphones and respond to questions that are spoken to them. For the speaking portion, there is literally a part where a microphone is placed in their Chromebook, and they speak their answers into the computer, which saves their answers, and they are scored accordingly. And reading text and writing out their responses to questions. So there are 4 aspects of the test. The families receive score reports, which are broken down into 6 different levels of achievement: entering, beginning, developing, expanding, bridging, and reaching. Any student who scores at a level 4.5 or higher exits the ELL program. If you are in an ELL program, that means you see one of our 3 ELL teachers once a day for anywhere 30, 40, could be as much as 80 minutes. Students who reach that target score are exited from the program. They are, subsequently monitored as well to make sure that when they are out of it, that things are still going well. Last year, we had 114 students take the assessment. This is not an assessment that typically students pass on the first time. It is usually something that takes many years to be able to test out of. We can, probably everyone in this room can think about, if I was dropped in a country and I didn't know the language, how long would it take me to be proficient? In all honesty, the younger children are, the easier it is for them to learn a second language, but we'll see there that again, it takes multiple years to get there. The scores tend to peak at rush school after many, many years of being in the program. And you can see how many students we had in each grade level who took the assessment. What the average score was, 17 students were able to meet that level 4.5 and have exited the program. As I said, now we have about 125 students who are in it now for the 22-23 school year. 2 more tests to go. The SAT results. This is for the class of 2022, our students who graduated last June. We have the information there for the verbal and the mathematics portion of the exam. There were well over 100 students who took the SAT. We can see the average verbal portion of the test, the average mathematics score, and the overall average for the class of 2022 was an 1117. Moving to, outward, as we go to the right, statewide, that was higher than our statewide peers, and continuing outward, higher than the national average as well. And lastly, the advanced placement results. The AP test is given each May to students who take part in one of the 14 courses that we offer at Cinnaminson High School. Last year, there were 94 students who took at least one AP test. You can see 212 tests were administered, so obviously many students are taking multiple exams. A 3 is considered passing. Scoring at a level 4 or 5, usually, depending on the university, yields some level of college credit. Could be for the exact course, could be an elective within that particular department. But 49 children scored, I shouldn't call them children, they're 18 years old. The big kids scored at a level 5, which is the highest level. 47 scored at a 4. The 3 courses that you see there on the right-hand side achieved the highest overall average. English language composition, which is the 11th grade English course, the mean was a 3.94. Calculus AB, 3.68, psychology, 3.14. There were a number of other courses that had average scores that were in the 3s and even the 4s. However, to publicly report data, you have to have had at least 10 kids in the class to say it. I can tell you that there were at least 3, 4, 5 courses, whose names I cannot say, that had children who did very well, again, big kids who did very well, in which the mean was in the upper 3s and the 4s. So hopefully that level of achievement helped those students out with their college course selections. And that concludes the presentation. Any other board members have any questions about anything in this particular presentation?
Dr. Goldborn, could you just explain what we do with those scores in order to move forward?
This test?
No, the first.
The NJSLA?
Yes.
Sure. So we get reports from the NJDOE that list every single standard in English, let's say 3rd grade English. We get the same report for 3rd grade math all the way through. It tells us every single standard and what percentage of kids got questions right related to that standard. With the NJSLA, it does not show you the actual test question. That would be very helpful. But it will say that for standard 2.1 ABCD, that 52% of the students got that question right, and this other standard, 10% of the kids got it right. It will tell us how many of the kids got that particular question. We have in-service days coming up in November. Time will be spent looking at that to focus on where we did well, where we did just okay, and where we may need to dedicate more time. Sometimes we look at them and it's obvious. Maybe it was a unit that people didn't get to. Or maybe it was one that was taught in June. They took the test in April and May. So that is one piece of evidence that we use to help us prepare. We have benchmark assessments that we use that give us very similar data as well, that break things down to the standard level. And we use that as well to help prepare for these assessments.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Goldberg.
Okay, we're moving on to Section 9, correspondence to the board. I don't have anything this month. Anybody else? Okay. We have no committee reports this month, so we're going to public comment. So members of the public are reminded that comments should be limited to items appearing on this meeting's agenda. There'll be another opportunity during this meeting to comment on non-agenda items. Anyone who would like to comment?
Any members of the public who would like to comment, if you would, please approach the podium. And this is for an item appearing on the agenda.
Am I allowed to ask questions about
A question for Dr. Goldburn? Yeah, his presentation appeared on the agenda, so if you wouldn't mind, if you would.
Joanne Bailey, Cinnaminson, New Jersey, 600 Overlook Road. Question going back, I may have missed the slide on the pass. What does it mean to pass that test?
Which one?
The standard, the ELA and all of those, NJSLA. What does it mean to pass it?
That means to score at a level 750 or higher.
Okay, and 750 was the average?
In some, not necessarily. Level 4 is like a 750 to an 800, give or take. Again, it's from a range of 650 to 850. 750 is considered a level 4, and the state of New Jersey has called that meeting expectations. If we're talking about the NJSLA and ELA or mathematics, that is, and from 800 to 850 is called exceeding expectations. They had a different verbiage for the science test as well, and that would be from like 200 to 250 and 250 to 300.
So basically what you're saying is that our students, 50% of our students met the expectation.
It varied from test to test, but in
So
some
50
cases,
to
yes.
60%.
Some cases it was higher, in some cases it was lower.
Right. In my opinion, that also means that 50% or 48% failed to achieve that. And I think that concerns me. Even though we're compared to the state, that really concerns me that half the kids are not passing. Question is that different than what it was pre-COVID?
Yes.
Significantly?
The state averages collectively, if we went from grades 3 through 9, statewide, we're down, on average, about 7 or 8 percentage points, and about 10 to 12-ish, I believe, in math, if we were to look back at 2019,
And
which was the last time the test was administered.
And is there something being done or going to be discussed to address how to catch these kids up?
As I mentioned, when we have in-service days, we spend time focusing on which standards we did well on, just okay, and which ones we need to really focus in on. So our teachers will spend time looking at that. We also have, for students who we've already identified as needing help, have after-school tutoring programs in our schools in which teachers, again, focus in on skills that we have honed in on as being the ones that are the most in need of attention.
You already have those in play?
Yes,
And is there transportation afterwards to get those children home?
yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your question. Any other members of the public wishing to comment on agenda items at this time?
Okay, we're moving on to Section 12, Personnel Certificated. Mr. Capello.
Thank you. I am under Section 12, Personnel Certificated, under A, Appointments and Transfers, seeking the board to approve items 1 through 3 as listed in the agenda. Under letter B, seeking the board to accept with sincere appreciation for years of service the resignation for purposes of retirement of the employee listed by number in the agenda. Under letter C, teaching overload, seeking the board to approve items 1 and 2 as listed in the agenda. No advancements on the salary guide, down to letter E, seeking the board to approve items 1 through 6 as listed in the agenda. Moving down to letter G, seeking the board to approve items 1 through 5 as listed in the agenda. Under letter H, tutors, seeking the board to approve items 1 and 2 as listed in the agenda. Under letter I, seeking the board to approve the 2 student teacher placements, numbers 1 and 2, listed in the agenda. And there are no mentor teachers this evening, so that is the personnel certificated items. Mrs. Fitzwater.
Thank you, Mr. Capello. Mr. Kenny, can I have a motion to approve Section 12, Personnel Certificated items A through J?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Gaffney. Comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Ms. Iacone?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Moving on to Section 13, Personnel Non-Certificated. Mr. Capello.
All right, back in 13, under letter A, resignation, seeking the board to approve items 1 through 3 as listed in the agenda. Under letter B, leaves of absence, seeking the board to ratify and affirm a leave of absence for an employee listed by number in the agenda under letter B. Letter C, seeking the board to approve items 1 through 5 as listed in the agenda. Under letter D, extra duty, seeking the board to approve Kelly Croon Special Education ABA Tech at the Rush School for 4 hours at the trainer rate related to PD sessions being held on November 9th. And under E and F, we have none. Moving down to letter G, seeking the board to approve items 1 through 4 as listed in the agenda. And Mrs. Fitzwater, that is non-certificated personnel.
Thank you, Mr. Capello. Mr. Bromhall, can I have a motion to approve Section 13, Personnel Non-Certificated, letters A through G?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Trempe. Comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Mr. Evans?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion approved. Moving on to Section 14, Curriculum and Instruction. Dr. Goldburn.
Thank you. Under 14, letter A, requesting approval of the professional development requests that are attached. Under letter B, requesting board approval of the field trip requests that are attached. Under letter C, instructional materials, number 1, 2, and 3. Under letter D, requesting board approval to curriculum maps aligned with the New Jersey Student Learning Standards for Social Studies and PE. And under letter E, requesting submission of the 2021-22 HIB grades for each school as scored by their school climate team, in which the maximum score is a 78. I'd request approval of those items, please.
Thank you, Dr. Goldburn. Ms. Quinn, can I have a motion to approve Section 14, Curriculum and Instruction, items A through E?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Turner. Comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Ms. Iacone?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Moving on to Section 15, Special Education. Mrs. Llewellyn?
Thank you, Mrs. Fitzwater. Under letters A, B, and C, there are none. Under letter D, Annual Nursing Services Plan, seeking the board to approve the Annual Nursing Services Plan for each building for the 22-23 school year is attached. Under letter E, Criteria for Independent Evaluations, seeking the board to approve Cinnaminson School District's criteria for independent evaluations for the 22-23 school year as attached. And that is it for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Llewellyn. Mrs. Iacone, can I have a motion to approve Section 15, Special Education, items A through E?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Trempe. Comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Mr. Evans?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Section 16, Policy. Mr. Capello?
Thank you again, Mrs. Fitzwater. Under Section 16 Policy, seeking the board to approve the second reading and adoption of the following policies that are listed in the agenda. Seeking for their approval, Mrs. Fitzwater.
Thank you. Mr. Evans, can I have a motion to approve Section 16, Item A?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Turner. Comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Ms. Iacone?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Moving on to Section 17, Business and Finance. Ms. Livingood.
Thank you, Mrs. Fitzwater. Item A, grants. Number 1 is that the board accepts the revised 22-23 funding statement for services under Chapter 192-193 as attached. Item number 2, that the board approves the submission of the 21-22 IDEA final report application along with the 22-23 carryover as attached. Item number 3 is that the board approves the non-public completion report for the 21-22 school year as attached. Section B, Finance, that the board approves the mileage reimbursements for the staff members as attached. Section C, Operations, item number 1, the 22-23 county facility approvals for the alternative bathroom plan and the application for dual use of educational space as attached. That the board approves the comprehensive maintenance plan as attached. And item number 3, that the board approves and ratifies the school bus emergency evacuation drills to be conducted on Tuesday, October 18th, 2022 through Friday, October 22nd, 2022 for the 22-23 school year. And Section D, contracts. Item number 1, that the board approves the multi-year agreement between JAG 1 Physical Therapy and Cinnaminson Board of Ed for athletic trainer substitute services as attached. And item number 2, that the board approves the purchase of fuel through Taylor Oil, a New Jersey START and state contract cooperative purchasing member as attached. And that is it for business and finance. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Livengood. Mrs. Trompe, can I have a motion to approve Section 17, Business and Finance, letters A through D?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Kenny. Comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Mr. Evans?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Moving on to Section 18, other business. Mr. Capello?
Thank you again, Mrs. Fitzwater. Seeking the board to approve, this is an annual exercise by the board, the memorandum of agreement with law enforcement for the 2022-23 school year as follows. Number 1, seeking the board to approve the Uniform State Memorandum of Agreement, referred to as the MOA, between the Educational Unit, which is our school district, and the Law Enforcement Unit, which is the Cinnaminson Police Department, for the 22-23 school year. Under number 2, seeking the board to approve the creation of the Law Enforcement Unit as part of the Uniform State MOA between the Educational Unit and the Law Enforcement Unit for the 22-23 school year. And number 3, seeking the board to approve a memorandum of understanding regarding live streaming between education and law enforcement for the 22-23 school year, and for members of the board, that essentially grants the police access to our camera system for security.
Thank you, Mr. Capello. And Mr. Gaffney, can I have a motion to approve Section 18, other business, letter A?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Turner. Comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Ms. Iacone?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
I can't see.
Aye. Motion approved. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Moving on to Section 19, public comment. During the public comment section of the meeting, the board will seek public comment on any item. Members of the public are reminded that if they wish to speak when called upon, participants should state their first and last name and address clearly for the record. Comments will be limited to a maximum of 4 minutes per person. With that said, anybody like to comment? Good? Okay. Comments from the board. Mrs. Turner?
Good evening. Welcome to new board member Dan Evans. We're happy to have you. Welcome Lucia Schlett, who will serve as the middle school representative for the board. Congratulations to all the fall sporting teams on your wonderful accomplishments. Congratulations to 2 staff members on recent publications. Cinnaminson Middle School teacher, Mrs. Rachel Cashin, co-authored a children's book that was recently published titled Just Plain Meatloaf. The book is now available on Amazon for purchase if you're interested. Cinnaminson High School Social Studies teacher, Dr. McGee, had an article published in the Journal of the American Revolution on October 6th. Congratulations to both of them. Congratulations to all of our high school fall sports for a great season. And thank you to Dr. Goulburn for your organized assessment report. Thank you to our students and our teachers for all their achievements. The next regularly scheduled board meeting is Tuesday, November 15th, 2022 at 7 p.m. in the middle school cafeteria. Information can be found on our website. Thanks for coming. Have a good night.
Thank you, Mrs. Turner. Mr. Kenny, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Go.